Hello, everybody. Today I want to speak to the completely open ego center with no activations at all. And what I'm going to say is also translating into any centers where there are no activations, any completely blank center. So for me, I feel like this has been one of the curses or blessings in my life. It started, of course, out as a curse, and it was also tied into my completely open emotional center. So in that right side of my chart, right, when we look at it, I feel like if we take it and put it into the body, it's actually the left side. But when I look it from the like this, it's on the right side. And we have that completely open ego and the completely open emotional. In my case, there's nothing on that side. There's a lot in the splenic center, there's a lot on the other side for me. And what this means is that I don't have a reference point for worthiness. I don't have a reference point even for, the emotional wave. So it's something, it's almost, I would say that it's almost a little bit autistic or actually Asperger, because it doesn't have a reference point. So with Asperger, we kind of have to learn about what is the social process, because we don't know how to just respond. It's something that we don't have in us, right? If we have that. With emotional center and with the ego center and any completely open center, I feel like it is this process where we learn about what that is, because in ourselves we don't really have a reference point. So with my open ego center, I have had to find a reference point for worthiness. And in my life, I started off, my first long time relationship was a relationship where one of my friends said, I've never seen a man treat a woman in that horrible way, and I don't know how you can stand it. And for me, and also actually my friendship with this person broke down because I didn't know what I felt when I heard it. I didn't know what to respond in the moment. And I also was scared about what would happen afterwards. So I let it happen and I forgot about it. And then 10 years later, we spoke about it and I realized why the friendship was gone. But for me in that moment, I didn't have a reference point for worthiness. And being probably also 4-6 with a lot of six line, I could stand out of what was going on. I could have a certain objectivity. And with that objectivity, it was like I wasn't even really in my body. The six line, this is language that Tim Brainard is using in the body keys. The six line is spirit. So when you have a lot of six line, especially as a 4-6, when it's your radiance and your purpose, when you have it in the body, in the design, it's so easy to go up in spirit. So when I felt like that ego center was flooded with complete opposite of worthiness, I just went out in spirit and I stayed there. And then my body was a shell, and anything could happen to it, any abuse could happen to it, because I wasn't actually there. So that's how it started out. So I got all these experiences that had to do with what is worthiness or what is not worthiness. And then with time, getting reference points for worthiness and non-worthiness, I started to more and more understand it. And we also have in that open ego, proving yourself, because when you don't have an inherent worthiness, you do feel like you have to prove yourself all the time. And so the reason why I'm speaking about this today is that this very week I realized that when I speak, and often when I speak with somebody I work with, and we have a limited amount of time, so maybe in 1 hour we're going to go over a human design chart or a gene key chart, I feel like I want to make sure to give so much so that the person really gets value. So I am wanting to give that value because it's the value center, right? It's completely open. But I realized that that's on the detriment of my own not even having time to breathe. And I'm kind of doing the same. I guess that I'm going up to spirit and I'm drawing in some of the information that happens to me when my spirit interacts with a chart. Because spirit is one of my main elements, because I have that sixth line in my radiance and my purpose, in my personality earth and my personality sun. So I draw in information from spirit and I just want to give it. And I'm not really even, my body becomes just a sensor from, or like a vessel from through in which, how do you say, this comes in. But it's not happy because I don't even have time to oxygenate it, because I'm so focused on just giving the transmission. So I'm taking a breath here because it's something that has taken me 3 decades to figure out and to actually understand that I want to be in the body And I was speaking also to somebody today about being a 4-6 and having a lot of 6 lines, and actually understanding that spirit is not out there. Like spirit wants to come into the body, and body wants to be spirit. Like they are intrinsically together when we are here in the human realm. It's not, we're not, even if the 6th line is kind of the line of the future, we're still incarnated in a human body, and we want to have spirit inside the body. And when we have spirit inside the body, we also have breath inside the body, and we're also there. So it's not like this blank center where there's no reference point and anything can happen. When we are there, we're feeling in our own authority, we're feeling in our own body graph, we're feeling in our own body, and then we get access to the genius of that center. So what happens with me when I remember this is that I also can see where there is a not self in the will center, in the ego center, because I remember what it is to be in the not self there. My life story, my curse has been to have that center open, not knowing from what frequency or what point to inhabit it, and also running away because it's too open. There are too many scary possibilities. So I kind of want to be in spirit, but then in the physical realm, I am running and running and running, trying to give so much, trying to give value to others in order to feel that I'm good enough, to have the right to be, to have my spirit embodied almost. So I feel like there is something very unique with the very completely open centers, and that we get in a lifetime the possibility to feel into the whole spectrum of what that open center is, and what the innocence of that open center is, when we can come back and have basically complete clarity and use that wisdom to reflect it back to others. So probably this is one of the reasons where I can sit here now and say, this is my experience of the ego center, and especially the not self of it, right? So yeah, that is my exploration right now, and I'm doing the same thing with the emotion center, and I'm wanting to do the same thing with all the centers, with somebody who has the completely open center. So we were speaking, for example, in the live earlier today with Ben and Ashley, and Ben has a completely open throat. So I am wanting to do a video about all the centers, and probably invite in a person who has the innocent experience of the blessing and the curse of the completely open center. So thank you for listening. Bye.